morning, everyone. What's up? It's Sean, Autotopia, LA. We're shooting this right before Thanksgiving, so by the time this drops, we'll all have stuffed full bellies, at least here in America. Today, we're getting into one of my all-time favorite cars. Definitely makes my top 5 all-time list. This is a 2007 Porsche GT3 RS. Any of you guys that have been following the channel for a while know that I'm pretty much in love with Porsche, and this one is just extraordinary. For one, this car has barely over 5,000 miles on it, so it's close to a brand new car. Value on this is north of $200,000 at this point and continuing to climb. We're going to get into some details on it, and I'm going to tell you guys why I love Porsche so much. So hold on, man, because here we go. All right, you guys, well, here we go for a cruise. And I say a cruise because this is going to be a real nice, very mellow drive. This is an extraordinary car. 2007 Porsche GT3 RS. This car's got 5,500 miles on it, which means it's well north of $200,000 in value. So I'm going to be just going for a little cruise. But, you know, this car definitely makes my top 5 list of all-time favorite cars. And I've got a bunch of reasons why. For one, I'm just a Porsche guy. I grew up, my dad had Porsches, my uncle had Porsches. So it's something I grew up around, and it just kind of got in the blood, I guess. But it's not without reason. I mean, for one, Porsche styling is timeless. It's classic. It just doesn't go out of style at all. So what's so great about this car? The 997. 997 was a radical evolution in everything that was in its predecessor in the 996. Something I just learned. It shows that we all get to learn constantly. RS, I never knew, stands for Rennsport, German for racing sport. Because this car, it's a track car. I mean, it's totally street legal, obviously, but it's a track-ready car pretty much. You got this beautiful 3.6 liter flat 6, making 415 horsepower, 300 foot-pounds of torque. Not a torque monster, not a big horsepower car. This isn't going to be your fastest 0 to 60 car out there. As a matter of fact, this car does 0 to 60 in about roughly 4 seconds. If you're really good, maybe you get 3.9. If you're like me, you're probably getting 4.2. But power to weight's in its favor. And there's something about 415 Porsche horsepower versus, say, 415 Dodge horsepower. It's a different thing. Everything about this car is set up for handling. You've got a massive rear tire for this car, a 305 on a 19-inch wheel. You had 235 up front. You know, Porsche's known for turning in and also a little bit of rear steer, because you're gonna get a little bit loose in the back, but that's what Porsche loves. That's when you put your foot in it and the car squats and digs in and you kind of rear steer. This one's got carbon ceramic brakes, which was an option back then. You've got that great Porsche suspension and that tone. Listen to that. The 6-speed transmission on this, I mean, there's something so special about the Porsche gearbox. This is a real short, close ratio transmission. I see this car and I see one of my favorite cars of all time. The look of it, the you know, the hips that it wears. It's like the shape of this is like a beautiful woman. Narrow, widens out. The ass on this thing, I mean, it's stunning. The carbon wing, and that's an adjustable wing. Now you can't do it electrically or remote. You got to get out and actually turn a couple of screws on there. But you've got a fully adjustable wing back there. This car makes real downforce. At the same time, just before this car came out, you had the GT3 version. RS goes, you know, a little bit wider in the rear. You're getting, I think this car, if I remember correctly, it's about 44, somewhere around there, millimeters wider than the GT3. I love the exhaust tone on this. I've got it in the sport setting right now, which opens that valve up and really just a screamer. And the sport mode, it's noticeably different on this car. When you put it into sport, not only do you hear the valve open and really get that exhaust tone, you've got the suspension as well. And when you go into the sport suspension, I mean, I can feel it right away. I hit bumps and it gets stiff, man. You feel them. And there's plenty of road noise that comes from the tires. Originally, this car would have come with Michelin Pilot Sport Cup tires. This one's wearing Pirellis at this point. One of the things I always love too about Porsche is their pedal configuration. It's so easy to heel toe on this car. It's really more of a light roll while you got one foot on the brake. You come into the interior here, you know, it's not overly done, it's not opulent, and yet it's total class. You got Alcantara everywhere in here, from the wheel to door panels, seats. You got the carbon composite seat. This car doesn't have the cage. It was an option to have a bolt-in cage in. Personally, I think they're cooler with the cage. Such a joy to drive this car. Brand new, you know, this was 125, 130 if I remember correctly, somewhere around there. Appreciated pretty radically since then, obviously. Just to get an idea of where these are at right now. And I see them ranging anywhere from a higher mileage one in the high hundreds, 170s, 180s. And then on a lower mileage one, I've seen them up in the high 200s. This one is lower mileage than any that I had seen. This car is sitting at 5,521 miles. So, you know, I gotta venture to guess this car would be high twos, edging on $300,000 at this point. You know, for all the guys out there that don't get it, I'm not even gonna try to fight. I'm not gonna try to convince you. I'm not gonna argue with you. All I can tell you is Porsche is a brand of car that I'm absolutely in love with. And this GT3 RS, this is perfection to me, man. All right, you guys, well, that's it for this amazing 2007 Porsche GT3 RS. By far one of my favorite cars of all time. And yeah, you'll notice the yellow here, I left it out. That's just factory clear bra sitting at the quarter that yellows over time. But everything about this car is perfection to me. The power to weight on it's extraordinary. I love the understated styling. I mean, it's funny to say understated with a gigantic wing on it, but the truth is this is a pretty understated car when you think of some of the more radical exotics and radical sports cars. But there's no question, this is a pure performance car. You even see human characteristics in this car, from the smile up front, the eyes, the hips, the ass on this thing. I mean, it is such a perfect car to me. I'm, as you could tell, extraordinarily passionate about the 997 GT3 RS. Absolutely love this car. So thanks for hanging and watching and supporting what we're up to. You guys know I truly do appreciate it. And I will see you in the next episode. All right, man. Later.